You're welcome back to Morning Express. Now let's open up the floor for the second leg of discussions on the program this morning. I will be talking about ways of strengthening national security and international relations at a time when Nigeria is having a bit of a strained relationship with the United States and with our own internal security challenges as well, bedeviling different regions of the country from the northeast to the northwest, the southeast, and of course the south-south. Joining us this morning in the studio is Mike Ejiofor, a retired director at the DSS, and also the president, Alumni Association of National Institute for Security Studies, AANISS. A very good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for finding the time to come around.
Thank you very much. My first time out in this station.
And you are looking very brilliant and bright this morning.
Thank you.
Well, let's kick off. Before we come to our national security and, the woes bedeviling the country, much recently, we saw an altercation that took place here within the FCT. I will just want you to brush over this very quickly, get your opinion on it, between the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ejiofor Mike, and a naval officer who had gone on an assignment on orders issued by a superior. And I don't know if you watched the video, but it was, the altercation was quite high. And if not for perhaps divine intervention, it could have gone really, really south. What is your position on that?
Well, it was quite embarrassing. To me as a person, it was quite embarrassing because it was avoidable.
Oh.
If proper channels had been used,
Yes.
maybe we wouldn't have gotten to that stage.
Oh.
But you know that the military generally, because of their training, carries out their last order. Because we almost have the same background, there are lawful orders and there are unlawful orders. But if you are not bound to obey an unlawful order, but who determines what is lawful and what is unlawful is the authority assigning that responsibility. So to a senior officer of the rank of a lieutenant in the Nigerian Navy, I think you should be able to know what is lawful and unlawful. And coming from the top hierarchy, he had no choice than to obey his superior officers because if he had done otherwise, he would have had problems. Possibly be court-martialed, for disobeying orders. I believe that, the minister should have exploited the other areas of reaching out, which he earlier did, but how they degenerated to that altercation was very, very unfortunate.
Now, there have been reactions from Nigerians concerning whether or not the military should even intervene in matters of land grabbing or land matters generally. And we all know that the FCT, even though is the Federal Capital Territory, is governed almost like a state, and the minister is like the governor. And in every other state in Nigeria, the governor has the right to access any land. Is that the case with the FCT minister? Is the naval officer in the wrong for having refused somebody who is almost like a governor of the FCT from accessing a land within the FCT?
You see, when we talk about the military, let me put it this way, visibility of the military in a democracy. We have a lot of security challenges.
Yes.
The military ordinarily is supposed to defend our territorial integrity. But they have been involved in internal security operations everywhere. And don't also forget that the military are made up of Nigerians.
Yes.
They are not foreigners. So if they have interest, rightly or wrongly, they have an interest in a property or on a land, they're also expected to protect it because they have been serving the country. And I mean, that situation was actually avoidable. But it has happened. It has happened. I think you can see that the Chief of Defense Staff has defended his officer.
The Chief of Defense Staff and then the Minister of Defense says that no officer will be penalized for simply following orders.
And if you look at the former Chief of Army Staff, Burata, he has also made a statement.
Yes.
They must take side with their own people. Watch as we admit that we are in a civil democracy, because these are people, the military is expected to be subjected to civil authority. But that is not the case now. I believe that the matter will be resolved.
Now, before we move away from this matter and delve into our security issues, we have talked about the military. We have talked about the minister and his people. But we haven't spoken about the policemen that, were part of the entourage of the minister, who at some point were the ones now interfacing with the soldiers. There was a different part of the clip where they were almost exchanging blows, and I think both sides were struggling to observe restraint so as not to fire a shot at anyone. What is your position on police also interfering in such a matter? We have seen the IGP making a statement about it, that the police officers might likely be penalized.
I don't see how the police officers will be penalized. They went there with the chief security officer of the Federal Capital, rightly or wrongly.
Yes.
In Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, is like a state. And he is the chief security officer. Unquote now, because we have the president, commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The National Assembly legislates for the FCT. So you don't expect the FCT minister to be going alone without protection, without policemen. But all that we have expected from them is protection of their principal. It's, that overzealous officers in Nigerians, some of them who came with the minister will not tolerate a situation where a minister is being challenged. Minister of
Federal Capital Territory.
Minister of not just Federal Capital Territory, Minister of
a super minister.
I would just want to. You are taking the word out of my. Somebody like Wike, is not somebody you can just write roughshod and he lets you go. So
that's why I said he is a super minister. Because amongst ministers, he is a minister.
He's the most visible. He's the most visible minister, So they have got this impression. Who are you to dare the minister of Federal Capital Territory? I think that was what led to the altercation, because the naval officer stood his ground on the instruction given to him, and that was to them an effrontery.
Well, quite an effrontery there by the naval officer, but we will see what the coming days or weeks will unravel on the part of the military and also on the part of the Nigeria police. And let's see what the federal government will do in wading into this matter. Now, coming back to our national security, we are deeply, heavily challenged. Terrorism, Boko Haram activities in the northeast, banditry and kidnapping in the northwest and north central. You go to the southeast, it's the unknown gunmen, activities of ESN and IPOB. South, you have kidnappers who we have really not given a name for yet. You go to the southwest, you also have, kidnapping and all of that, but then it's a little bit stemmed down by Amotekun.
Activities of Yahoo boys.
Exactly. Holistically, Nigeria is in trouble, security-wise. How did we get here?
Well, so many reasons for that. You have religious, ideological, you have economic reasons, and, so maybe we need to break it down a little. You remember how the Boko Haram started, and because it was not initially properly handled, it broke into a serious challenge. That you remember how their leader was extrajudicially killed, and which led to uprising and formation of the main group, which later also affiliated with foreign terrorist organizations like ISWAP, ISIS, and that is for the North East. Coupled with the harsh economic conditions, you now see a situation where people kidnap not only for ideological or religious reasons,
Yes.
but because of economic reasons. They collect ransom, buy more arms, embark on more kidnapping. Then you have the extremist Islamist fundamentalists who also believe that the religion, the Islam they practice is the best. But to average Muslim, they don't believe in what they are. And they even looked at as infidels because they are not practicing what they are
The
practicing.
extremist
The
aspect
extremist
of the religion.
So there's a conflict. So a lot of reasons. Then you come to the southeast, you see the issue of agitation. For instance, in 2017, I was on Channels Television when this Operation Python Dance was embarked upon. And I advised government then, if you go to the net, you see it. I advised government that if you don't have a leadership to deal with, it becomes a major problem. There's a leadership, that's Nnamdi Kanu, as at then. He was waiting for the court because his house was invaded, and he's a human being. He had to escape and now became a more hydra-headed problem.
Yes.
He had followers, misguided followers.
And with Radio Biafra disseminating a lot of information that led to killings in the southeast.
You know, there's a lot to this brainwashing and ideology. When you see people who believe, rightly or wrongly, in a particular cause, they looked at him as a god and they started killing. But he has also come out to condemn what they were doing, like sit at home. You know how many billions is lost in the southeast every Monday because of sit at home. Then you come to the northwest, you look at the issue of mineral exploitation, illegal mining,
Katsina, Zamfara, and the rest.
generating money and all this. So for each geopolitical zone, there's a different cause for a particular problem.
Yes.
And that is why we should also, you see, the only area that is relatively stable now is the South-South, you know, that has been involved in resource control. Because government took certain decisions and would tend to have some stability in that area. But that is not to say that it could not come up again
the
tomorrow.
The insecurity situation there is not one that affects, you know, the national strata.
Exactly. So if you look at the various security challenges, each geopolitical zone has its own peculiar problem. So it will also require its own peculiar solution.
Now that brings us to state policing.
That's where I was even going
President
to.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu had a couple of months ago mentioned to state governors to liaise with the National Assembly to bring about state policing to fruition. He made the statement. It was applauded after years and years of clamoring. But then we saw a committee on the Constitution review. You know, one of the comments that they had made was that, yes, state policing might be considered, but for now, it's been relegated to the background. Let's talk about tax. Let's talk about other things. Why relegate state policing, something that has been proven to be the solution to our security woes, to the background?
You see, that's why I was even heading to. You know, you continue repeating yourself over certain because part of it. Like I said, each geopolitical zone has its own peculiar problems and require its own peculiar solution. Solutions to security problems. The problems themselves are local, so the solutions also must be local. I have always advocated on the establishment of the state police. But you see, we don't set our priorities right. You see a situation where you begin to put forest guard, you have to put a vigilante, multiplicity of various security agencies. We have not even been able to maintain the conventional security outfit, and we are creating more. Well, I still believe that the way out of all this quagmire is establishment of state police. The reasons, I'll give my reasons for supporting the state police. Because, in fact, the president keyed into it,
Yes.
the National Assembly keyed into it,
Yes.
various stakeholders keyed into this state police. The advantages quite outweigh the disadvantages, because a lot of people talk about the disadvantages. For example, they talk of abuse by the state governors. And we should also bear in mind that it's not every state that can afford the creation or establishment of state police.
Why?
In terms of funding. And some states don't even have that kind of security challenges that is overwhelming. Overwhelming. So there are critical states that require state police. And the reason is this. If you look at the present Nigerian police as it's too central for effectiveness. A situation where you take somebody from Borno, for instance, and move into Bayelsa, or take somebody from Bayelsa and move into Borno, different climes, different situations,
different
cultural differences, religious differences, language barrier. Before you even talk of acclimatizing or acculturizing, within that area, you are transferred out
to another place.
And people will not even have confidence in you. If you go to the southeast, for instance, the impression is that most of the people, most of the policemen and the soldiers who are serving in the southeast are just out there to extort money, which is actually
mostly
what
from the north or from the west.
Which is exactly what is happening. So, but if you own it, you own the police, you'll be able to effectively control them. The governors will come out now to tell you, we are just chief security officers by nomenclature, by name. We are not effective. We cannot give commands to the various federal commissioners of police.
Yes.
But if they have their own, and the crimes should be defined. You have the one to be taken care by the state police. The one by the federal, very serious cases like cases of major felonies, like you look at state crimes against the state, like espionage, sabotage, subversion, terrorism. The federal government, in liaison with the state police, because the state police should be charged effectively with gathering of intelligence. Where they cannot handle it, they transfer to the Nigerian police.
Yes.
And by so doing, we overcome some of these challenges. But if we continue like this, I'm afraid, if we continue like this, and by 2027, we don't have a state police, we are going to have major problems. You can imagine, Anambra election, 45,000 security men were deployed.
Were deployed to the state.
How are you going to get all in a general election? Multiply it. The strength of the Nigerian police is less than 400,000. And out of this 400,000, you have people deployed to dignitaries. Over 120,000 deployed to dignitaries and various. So the police is not only understaffed, it's underfunded, and it can't be effective the way it is presently constituted. So the states can take responsibility.
I still have one question now concerning our international relationship with the U.S., which I understand has been quite good for some time, up until recently, when we got threats from the U.S. president, and then a blacklisting and designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. What does this mean for the nation, and how serious is this?
To me, and for me, it's a very serious matter. Serious in the sense that President Trump should not be underestimated. You know, during his campaign, he's doing all the things he promised to do during his campaigns.
Yes.
So when he says anything, he's going to carry it out to the letter. We have had excellent relationship with the United States, and I don't think this issue will break the relationship. Like I've always advocated, and I'm happy the government is towing that line. We use diplomatic channels to resolve this. Trump is not invading Nigeria. He says he's going to fish out the terrorists. But Nigeria is a sovereign state. You cannot just come and fish out the terrorists without the cooperation of the home state, the home country. That's the only area I have disagreement. So government should now, federal government should now explore that avenue of seeing how both governments can work together. They've been selling arms to us, selling aircraft and what have you, exchanging training. So we shouldn't, even though, you know, the greatest challenge Nigeria has is issue of religion and ethnicity. If that is exploited, everybody's going to be in problem. So what I would suggest is that federal government should, by all means, explore diplomatic channel. Don't also forget, you recall about a few years ago when an American was kidnapped from Niger State and Niger Republic, and brought to Sokoto. They were able to come and rescue their citizens. So we should work together with them, and we should not look at it as a religious or ethnic war. If we allow this thing to fester and he actually invades Nigeria or try to bring out the terrorists without the cooperation of host country, that's Nigeria. Now, it's going to escalate and be internationalized, where you now have other world powers taking side. France will make a statement, you know, our president has been visiting France. Russia has made a statement. China is interested in Nigeria. They will not sit down and fold their hands. So we should not be, we can't allow our country to be used as a battleground. So, and besides, the statements, both governments are also monitoring statements and analysis of the situation. Some of our top-notch politicians and religious leaders should also be mindful of the kind of statements they make so that it doesn't inflagrate or politicize and make the situation uncontrollable. That's my take on that, and I think the government is in the right direction of trying to explore those diplomatic channels.
Well, coming back to Nigeria and the entire religious bias that we have, the main bane of this entire discourse is the fact that there was an allegation of a Christian genocide, especially in the northern part of the country. Mass burials being held every now and then in Plateau, in Kaduna, in Benue, like southern Kaduna that we thought some relative peace had returned to. We saw recently, you know, where some sort of attacks also happened there in southern Kaduna. Yet, individuals like Sheikh Ahmed Gumi, are tweeting online that the mass burials being held for slaughtered or slain Christians in this part of the country are stage managed. That Christians are now beginning to bury empty coffins just to push a certain narrative of a Christian genocide. Very serious allegations and claims by Sheikh Gumi. What is your position on this as a security expert? And should individuals like Sheikh Gumi be called, really called to order?
Well, for me, that kind of statement is not only inflammatory, it's also divisive and provocative. We are witnesses when communities like communities in Benue, Plateau are attacked. Ceremonies, burial ceremonies are carried, mass burials are carried out. Everybody, some of them even on live TV.
Yes.
So anybody to come out to begin to say that it's being stage managed is reckless. And not only that, I also don't want to toe the line that it's only Christians. But if you go to Plateau and Benue, majority, most people, and the people attacking are not from that area. The attack is directed at the indigenes, who are mainly or mostly Christians. If you go to, like I said when we started,
yes,
if you go to the Northeast, some of these fundamentalists don't believe that the conservative Muslims are even practicing Islam. So they are also targeted and they are victims. But the majority of the people being killed, who must face the fact and tell the truth in the North, are Christians. Well, that's not to say that Muslims are not killed. The most important thing is that Nigerian lives matter. Whether you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, the primary purpose of government is welfare and security of the people. No Nigerian should be killed based on religion or ethnicity.
yes.
And that is what we should concentrate our efforts on.
All right, quite very interesting take here by Mr. Mike Ejiofor. No Nigerian should be killed based on religion or ethnicity. I might even add political alignment.
Exactly.
Well, this has been a very interesting discuss with you this morning, sir. Thank you so much for availing yourself for this. We hope to have you back in the studio when our country has stabilized.
We'll pray. You know, Nigerians pray a lot.
Absolutely. Well, that has been Mr. Mike Ejiofor, a retired DSS director. He also doubles as the president, Alumni Association of National Institute for Security Studies, AANISS. We've been talking security matters in the country and how it pertains to you and I. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll shift gears to another discussion on Morning Express. Stay tuned.